Hi everyone, my name is Chris Wang. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ThunderCore, and I would like to share about the ecosystem retention today. So let me first start by what I think is the goal of a public blockchain. I think the goal is actually adoption. I'm building a public blockchain because I want people to use it. And to get adoption, I think the key is to get acquisition and retention. In today's talk, I will be mostly focused on retention here. So what is ecosystem retention? Ecosystem retention is when a user enters your ecosystem, how long do they stay in your ecosystem? Note that the reason for entering is usually very different from the reason for staying. Entering is about acquisition, while staying is about retention. For a public blockchain, such as ThunderCore, once the address starts to use a DApp in ThunderCore, how long do they continue to use any DApp in ThunderCore? And over the year, we have heavily optimized this metric. I believe this is a very important metric to have for long-term adoption of public blockchain. And it's interesting to know that typically, DApp user does not retain in the ecosystem after a user stops to grow. And note that for any particular DApp, the developer only cares about retaining user in his or her DApp, not the ecosystem. It's actually public blockchain's job to optimize for the retention, for this ecosystem retention. When a public blockchain did not focus on ecosystem retention, users generally left when a DApp dies. And let me share a couple of examples here. So this is a user per protocol graph on DApp radar. And this graph is for running. And this graph shows the daily active user number for running protocol. The daily active user is defined as the total number of unique active wallet addresses interacting with the smart contract. As you can see here, there is a spike on the total daily active user on running last year. And this happened when Axie Infinity is very popular. However, when Axie Infinity loses popularity, the user left the ecosystem. Here's another example. This is the graph for Solana. Solana's daily active user spike when StepN is very popular. However, once StepN loses its popularity, many users left the Solana ecosystem. Similarly, for Tron used to dominate the entire gambling sector. But when those DApp died, many users left with the DApp. And one of the reasons that this is happening to so many of these public blockchains is that this public blockchain did not focus on ecosystem retention. Note that the ecosystem retention is actually not a new concept. This has been used repeatedly in the past by a lot of Web2 companies whenever they are building platforms. First, let's take a look at Facebook. When Facebook first opened up its API in 2007, many developers jumped in to build applications. And many of these applications rely on newsfeed to virally grow. Currently, most of these applications are already dead. However, it has brought a huge amount of users to Facebook. And Facebook managed to keep the user on the platform by focusing on recommending internal Facebook features to newsfeed. And so even though most of these applications are already dead, Facebook has managed to keep the user. Here's another example. Let's look at Netflix. For instance, when a show is very popular, such as Squid Game, it actually helped Netflix to onboard many new subscribers. And Facebook focused on its recommendation system to keep subscribers watching one show after another. This is particularly impressive that given each show actually has very low retention. Specifically, most subscribers will not watch a show twice. So Netflix has to keep referring to new shows. And Netflix managed to retain many of its subscribers using the recommendation system. Another example is Steam. When Steam first started, it used a very popular game, Counter-Strike, to attract many players to install Steam client. However, if a player has just played Counter-Strike and left, Steam will not actually have a platform. Steam focused on game browsing and discovery experience to help the player to discover new game and stay in the Steam ecosystem. And there are actually many, many more examples like this when people are building platforms, such as Kickstarter, Amazon, etc. All these platforms have a very robust ecosystem retention mechanism. And for ThunderCore, we have been focused on this ecosystem retention, and I would like to quickly share what we have achieved here. So this is the daily active user graph on DR Radar from 2 days ago. This graph shows the top 10 public blockchain by daily active user. The red line on this graph is the ThunderCore's daily active user number over time. And the table on the top right shows the actual daily active user number on September 29th from 2 days ago. As you can see from the graph, we're actually the number 3 public blockchain by daily active user. And we have been able to achieve this almost all organically. We have spent very little on marketing and grant to developers. Note that I do think marketing is very important. However, we choose to focus on retention first, because I believe that we need to figure out how to retain users before we spend money to acquire users, so we don't just waste the acquired users. Also, in the last few months, most public blockchains are actually losing users except us. We have been able to grow steadily over time because we have been able to retain users. So a lot of people ask me, what did we do differently to achieve this result? First, we actually have a mobile application, which is a hub for users to discover and browse many of the DApp on our ecosystem. And based on the user behavior, we figure out what type of application they might be interested in, and we will recommend to them. We use notification to recommend new DApp to users. The other thing we do is that we also have an airdrop system to give rewards to users. Whenever there's a new application, we will try to reward users with airdrop if they try the new application. And this airdrop is triggered based on smart contract interaction. Specifically, if a user performs an on-chain interaction in an application we promote, they can claim a Thunder token airdrop. And we all know how crypto users love airdrop. This is almost like a daily quest or daily reward system in a typical games. And as a nice benefit of all the referral system we have built, we are actually the only public blockchain that can drive over 10,000 crypto users to any new DApp. And we're not talking about just driving any user. We're actually talking about users that will actually go perform a smart contract transaction. As far as I know, no other public blockchain can promise this to DApp developers. And of course, we could not achieve this without a very solid technology platform. ThunderCore is a layer 1 EVM compatible public blockchain with a rigorous mathematical proof of security. We have tested ThunderCore at over 4,000 transactions per second, and transactions are confirmed, and not just confirmed, it's also finalized all in 1 second. ThunderCore is also very reliable with over 400 million transactions already on chain and over 200,000 daily active users. There's also over 2,000 tokens that's already issued on ThunderCore, and this scalability is proven with real usage. Let me also try to explain the acquisition and retention in a different way. Many public blockchains are focusing on acquisition, and this is how I think they are doing it. Let me explain this graph on the left. We have what I call an acquisition loop. Many public blockchains did a great job at acquiring new developers. This blockchain used grants and funds to encourage DApp developers to build. Then they leverage this partnership to create PR and marketing, etc., which lead to token appreciation. And as a result of the token appreciation, it leads to more funding to encourage more, to give out more grant and to encourage more DApp to build. And this acquisition strategy actually worked great during the bull market. But given the current market condition, it probably doesn't work as well. On the right side, this is why I have called a retention loop. And the key here is actually this discovery line. So whenever a new DApp enters the ecosystem, the DApp will be able to attract new users. However, DApp will not help its user discover other competing DApp. It's actually the platform's job for us is to make sure that users have easy way to discover other DApp on our platform. And we focus very heavily on this discovery mechanism. It's actually not easy at all. It took us years to optimize this discovery process. And because we have figured out how to drive DApp growth using user, we're actually able to grow the ecosystem daily active user number organically with very minimal amount of grants and marketing. We're actually growing the ecosystem with user, and we're actually attracting DApp developer by promising users to them. So I believe the long-term goal of the public blockchain is to drive adoption. And adoption is acquisition plus retention. I think getting the adoption is like the holy grail of public blockchain. Anyone that can create mass adoption of public blockchain is going to be able to create a huge amount of value. For us, we have figured out how to retain users, and the next step is to work on the acquisition. The obvious choice for ThunderCore is to build up our marketing and partnership team to work on the acquisition. And once we can acquire and retain, we will eventually achieve mass adoption. The other choice is that if we can find a partner that already know how to acquire DApp, or a partner with very good brand and token value, we can actually ally together to build mass adoption. After all, having adoption will be much, much more valuable than only having either acquisition or retention. So I feel that having the right partner will be able to greatly accelerate the process of getting adoption. And this will be a big win-win for both sides. So if any of you are interested in partnership, please let me know. Thank you.